Hey everybody, this is Grace. In this video, I'm going to talk about when you accidentally strike a nerve or with somebody, or some people call it touched a nerve and hit a nerve. Okay, whichever the one you use. But you accidentally did it and they had a major fit of rage. Okay, bruised their ego or something, and they have a major fit of rage. Now in this example I'm going to give, it's going to be online, and it's not, like I said, it's you accidentally did it. It was not intentional. Let's say, like, if you make a post or whatever social media network you're using, you make a post or a blog or a video, even, it's not just YouTube where you can put videos, or post or tweet or whatever it is that you do. And it's in a group or whatever for people who are talking about things like toxic people, narcissistic abuse, some form of abuse, and you simply going along with what everybody else, the whole topics, threads, and discussing it. Well, now we all know that there are trolls, of course, and also that people who are reading these might be rather narcissistic. Now, I don't diagnose anybody. I don't know anybody who's been diagnosed with narcissistic personality disorder. So that's up to their counselor or therapist or psychiatrist, whatever professional it is. Not us. But yeah, I want to get into that. Okay, pardon this. I'm going to continue doing the video this way. It's the only way right now. Give examples. Now, I have seen this repeatedly over years now. When I do videos, I have done posts and whatevers over years, and even going back into the 90s, I think. Yeah. And I have seen this rather consistently in my life, my whole life, outside of online. I have seen people who are, I call it, they have a narcissistic histrionic blend of behaviors. Okay. And one of the things I have noticed online now, I've known these type, they're really, the ones I have known that are more histrionic, they are very dramatic, they're very loud in their appearance, loud in the way they talk, and loud in the way they cackle. They don't laugh, they cackle. I mean, the world could hear them. Practically, of course not, but you see what I'm saying. And I've given an example, like if you go to a restaurant with one of these, they're going to make sure they are the center of attention, or they get louder and louder. And the other diners are looking over at your table saying, can anybody shut that person up? My experience has been that they're mainly women, but there are men who are this way. And when they're younger, they dress more provocative. And this is my experience. I'm not saying that it's one size fits all. But when they get older, they try to dress like they're much younger. Okay, and they exaggerate things. And then all ages, they exaggerate, like their makeup, their hair, their bling, whatever. They're going to have more than anybody else. But like the shirts, they might have less. If they're women, they might have less to a shirt than there should be. You know what I mean? Real tight clothing, sometimes see-through, whatever. They have to be the center of attention. They don't care how they get it, whether it's negative attention, positive attention. They don't care, as long as they're the center of attention. They often think they can do no wrong, and everybody else they're the ones who are wrong. If they say anything about, like, please be quiet, nope, they're wrong. If online something happens, they say that person's a troll. If somebody disagrees with them, that person's a troll. Okay, when it could be that you're just plain wrong. You see, when that person, not you, that person is just plain wrong, and that's what they're saying. No, you're wrong. And that person just cannot handle it. The person who's rather histrionic, with a little bit of narcissism added into there. So, okay, and as I said, it is all we all know that probably know that there are trolls, and those trolls might just say something negative against what somebody who's right. They're just going to say something negative. Okay, there are trolls. You got it. There are. Not doubting that at all. I've been online since 1990. And believe me, I do know. They used to call them bashers way back then, and then it changed. Flamers. It doesn't mean the same as it does. Maybe it still does these days, but they changed. Flamers was just somebody throwing, like, these days I think they say more like they throw darts at you. Back then it was that they throw flames at you. Of course, not real ones, but. And there's trolls. What else? There were all kinds of different names for people who just want to irritate. Some just call them narcissists. Did you try to diagnose? Don't diagnose. That's come up a lot more recently. I've seen too that people say, that too many people are just diagnosing people as narcissists, and it's not a good sign. It's not a good thing. So it shouldn't be. So my example, basically, is that of having, written or spoke about histrionic people and on, narcissistic histrionic blend, like I said, on groups or whatever, video, and it would strike a nerve with some people because that's something they do. The whole loudness. Whether it's in whatever, it's a combination of clothing, bling, whatever. They feel like, they don't want to admit that maybe they have an issue. You see what I'm saying? That maybe, there's a hint. It's not a diagnosis. It's a hint that their behaviors may not be, but it's not a one size fits all. For some people, it's just something creative. They dress a different way, or They just picked up laughing too loud. But, I tend to say it's a combination, and just how bad is it? How bad does it affect others? I think that's one of the main, they all do, the cluster Bs, in my opinion. They affect others. But this one might not affect them so much as it does the others. Okay. Their behavior, usually they look to see how does it affect their, such as jobs. Their ability to earn money and their livelihood. That might not be so bad for them, but for other people around them, yeah. Anyway, but that is the one that seems like it strikes a nerve with some people, because I have noticed really that a lot of these people with the narcissistic histrionic blend of behaviors that I know, they tend to be around people who they could be narcissistic, or they could be, like psychopathic, really, or sociopathic. Those are not in the DSM as far as I know. The new one, I don't know. But they tend to, in a way, they like to get with them, because they benefit off them somehow, some way. And it's and vice versa too. You could think in terms of flying monkeys. Okay. Anyway, I'm sure that many of us have done that somehow. But do we recognize it for what it could be, what it might be? Is that person, it hit a nerve because that person is that. And I have seen it, like I said, consistently. I've had people come up against me because I have one right now who's so angry because I did videos about this, and she kind of fits some of it. But yeah, that they will lash out. They will do some of them. Remember, all this is some of them. One size does not fit all. But do the smear campaign. I know one who has done it for my whole life. Smear campaign, behind your back, you have no idea, you never did any of that anyway, so why would you suspect he's going around telling people that you've done something? That kind of smear campaign. That's not just for politicians. But anyway, so for some of them, it's kind of light. It's more funny, or they're funny, but some of them, they are vicious. When they can't get their way, when they can't be the center of attention, when they see you as an enemy, or you are in their way, or you're standing out, like I said, they have to be the center of attention. You're standing out and they aren't. Oh boy, But now a light one, something that's kind of light. And when I was coming out here earlier to do this video, I was at the door and there was some noise, I'll tell you what it is in a minute, in the road. Okay, now from my door to the road is probably, you could put a few SUVs in there, in between, so it's not right up on the street. Okay, and just kind of step back. And I heard from the door, as soon as I opened, I heard this really, really loud, young female voice. It doesn't matter, young or old, it doesn't matter. Very loud, and she was on the phone. I could have, if I stayed there, I could have heard her whole conversation. Okay, this is a kind of a quiet neighborhood, more like muppies that are, some of them are retired already. It's very quiet overall. So, I mean, the whole side of this neighborhood probably heard her conversation if they were outside. That loud. And we were having something delivered, okay? So, okay. Now, she was already like about almost 30 minutes early, and that was the beginning time. It was like 11:30, and our delivery time was noon to 2, so I wasn't expecting her. And so I just shut the door. She was still out in her SUV, her car, just so loud. So talking so loud. It was just, wow. Talk about. So I just shut the door because we have a leave-it door and all that. So I shut the door. I was like, wow. And then whenever, I was trying to look and see, on my, that's the only one I have left, the delivery service, because the rest of them were crap. I'd get about 70% of my order. I used to say 70 to 75%, but then I realized it was probably, on some of them, it was probably more like 50, 55, 60 maybe % of what I'd ordered, the cost that would be. Because see, I wasn't figuring it right because of the tip and the other service, the other service charge. Yeah. I didn't get everything this time either. It's usual. For premium service, you would think, some think of it as premium or, something along that line. You would think they want that tip. But anyway, so I was trying to find it, on my iPad, and I had to wind up getting online to see what wasn't delivered, and it was a small order as it was. It was, I think, 17 items. I think it was 17 items. And 5 or 6 of them weren't delivered. So think about it. It's items wise. Cost wise, it was supposed to be around 80. I think they guessed around 80, 85. And it was 50 something. Yeah. Anyway. So I was looking on that, and the picture of the person who delivered it popped up. Okay. And I looked at it and I was like, yeah, tell the story. Picture says 1,000 words. This one was a young woman, and she had her head tilted to one side, her tongue out, and like she was laughing, but her tongue sticking out. How professional is that? Can you tell me? But I mean, it was funny, yeah, but that's not very professional. We all know that. That wouldn't be considered professional. And to be in somebody's neighborhood yelling like that loud on the phone, that's not very professional either for this premium service. I don't call it that because I've never seen it to be premium service. But they think of it as if you can't afford it, then a big tip, 20% or more, then you don't deserve to have this, I'll just say premium service. Yeah. You can't deliver and can't do your job as one, and see, there's another side of that story. But anyway, yeah. I mean, how would you see it? How would you see it all? Now, if I had seen what she was dressed in, I do wonder. I really do. But by the picture, yeah. Anyway, I could tell she wasn't wearing a mask. It's not mandatory in Texas, but I think it's a big courtesy if you're delivering to somebody's house in the middle of all this, and they have leave-it door. I think it would be a professional courtesy to have that mask on. You're going into their yard, their space. It's not public, it's their space. And I actually believe that service requires it. You see? Anyway, but that's another thing. That's another thing that I've noticed about people who are more histrionic is they do not want to play by anybody's rules. They don't care. It's all about the way they see it. And that's kind of like the narcissistic blend with it. But they, the people who think that speed limits are only suggestions, that kind. And that anything, I'm not going to do that. That's extra. Narcissistic people I've known, they think in terms of anything that's an extra step. Like an extra step is to put on that mask when the job says you must, even. Anyway, don't get me started. I'm going to go ahead and wrap this up. I think that's all I need to talk about on this one. And, yeah, I'll talk to you on another video. Bye.